Doubt is a liar. It doesn't come with flashing lights or warnings. It arrives quietly, disguised as concern, practicality, or even self-awareness. It tells you that you're not ready, that others are better, that failure is inevitable. It creeps into your thoughts when you're about to take a risk or follow your passion, whispering that it's safer to stay where you are. But the truth is, doubt is not protecting you, it's paralyzing you. It thrives on fear, feeding you false stories about your worth and capabilities. It reminds you of every mistake you've ever made while ignoring every victory you've ever achieved. It turns small insecurities into mountains and makes you question your direction, even when your heart knows exactly where to go. The worst part about doubt is that it sounds so reasonable. It says, wait until you're more experienced, or what if you fail, or you're not special enough to make this work. And because those words echo in our own voice, we believe them. We take doubt's word as truth and hold back our potential, all because we didn't recognize the lies in its message. But look back. How many times has doubt stopped you from trying something new, from speaking up, from reaching out, from showing the world what you can do? How many ideas were abandoned? How many opportunities missed? How many dreams buried not because they were impossible, but because doubt convinced you they were? Doubt doesn't care about your growth. It doesn't want you to take risks, because risk leads to change, and change leads to strength. Doubt wants you to stay small, hidden, and afraid. It wants you to believe you're not good enough, not smart enough, not brave enough. But all of those are lies, because the truth is you are enough. You've always been enough. You've faced challenges before. You've overcome difficulties you thought you wouldn't survive. You've made it through pain, failure, and fear, and here you are, still standing. That didn't happen by accident. It happened because deep down, you are powerful, capable, and worthy. You just need to trust that voice more than the voice of doubt. The only way to defeat doubt is to take action in spite of it. You don't wait for doubt to disappear, you walk forward with it in your shadow and prove it wrong. You move even when it says you can't. You speak even when your voice shakes. You try, you learn, and you grow. And with every step you take, doubt loses its grip. You'll never eliminate doubt entirely, but you can silence its influence. You do that by replacing its lies with truth, the truth of your resilience, the truth of your talent, the truth of your potential. You remind yourself that no one who ever achieved greatness did so without battling doubt. They succeeded because they didn't let it win. So the next time doubt shows up, don't argue with it. Just recognize it for what it is, a liar trying to hold you back. And then keep going anyway, because every time you act in spite of doubt, you reclaim your power, your confidence, and your belief in yourself. That's how you silence the doubt. That's how you win. Trusting yourself isn't about perfection. It's not about always having the right answers, making flawless choices, or never failing. Trusting yourself is about knowing that no matter what happens, you will figure it out, grow through it, and keep going. It's about having your own back even when life doesn't go according to plan. We often think that we need to be perfect to move forward, that we need to be completely prepared, totally confident, and free of fear. But perfection is a myth. It doesn't exist, and waiting for it only delays your growth. Trusting yourself begins when you allow yourself to act, even with uncertainty. It's in the decision to start, not in waiting until everything is polished. Perfection is rigid. It makes you afraid to try because you might mess up. It creates pressure to always perform and never stumble. That pressure becomes a wall between you and your potential. But trust, real trust, is flexible. It lets you make mistakes. It lets you fall and get back up. It says, even if I get it wrong, I'll learn and improve. Think of the people you admire. Did they reach success through perfection? Or did they get there by trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again? Every successful person you see has a history of setbacks and imperfections. What made them different was not flawless execution, it was belief in their ability to rise again. When you trust yourself, you stop fearing failure as the end. You begin to see it as feedback, not a final judgment. You recognize that missteps are part of the process, and that growth comes from experience, not from staying safe. You give yourself room to evolve, instead of trapping yourself in unrealistic standards. Trusting yourself means letting go of constant self-judgment. It means speaking to yourself with compassion instead of criticism. You understand that your worth doesn't depend on being perfect, it depends on being real, being present, and being willing to keep going. When you accept that imperfection is natural, you become unstoppable. You stop hiding. You stop hesitating. You show up fully and honestly. This kind of self-trust builds confidence that isn't shaken by external opinions. You no longer need everyone's approval to feel valid. You don't have to prove your worth by doing everything right. You carry an inner strength that tells you, I can handle this. I've got what it takes. I may not be perfect, but I am powerful. And here's something even more important: trusting yourself invites others to trust you too. People are drawn to authenticity, not perfection. They connect with those who are honest about their flaws, but courageous enough to try anyway. Your vulnerability becomes your strength. Your effort becomes your inspiration. So stop waiting to feel perfect before you take that step. Stop waiting to have zero fear before you move forward. Start where you are with what you have. Trust that your instincts are enough. Trust that you are capable of learning whatever you need to. Trust that you can recover from mistakes and rise even stronger. Because trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll never fall. It means you believe in your ability to rise every single time. And that belief, not perfection, is what will carry you toward everything you've ever dreamed of becoming. Your past proves your strength, even if you don't always see it. Every time life tested confidence grows through action, not by thinking about it, wishing for it, or waiting for it to magically appear. It's not something you're born with or something you can fake your way into. Real, lasting confidence is earned step by step, choice by choice, action by action. It comes from doing the hard things, showing up when you're scared, and proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Too often, people wait to feel confident before they start something new. They tell themselves, I'll speak up when I'm more confident, or I'll go for that opportunity when I feel ready. But confidence doesn't come before the action. It comes because of the action. You don't wait until the fear is gone, you act while it's still there, and with every step forward, the fear shrinks and your confidence grows. The first time you try anything, you'll probably feel unsure. That's natural. The first time you speak in front of a crowd, take a risk, or chase a big dream, self-doubt will likely show up. But confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to keep going despite it. And the more you do something, the more familiar it becomes. That familiarity turns into experience, and experience becomes confidence. Think about a skill you've learned: riding a bike, driving a car, speaking a new language. You weren't confident at first. You likely made mistakes, maybe even failed a few times, but each time you tried, you improved. Each time you pushed past the discomfort, you proved to yourself that you could handle it. That's how confidence is built, from effort, not ease. Confidence also grows when you keep promises to yourself. When you set a goal and follow through, even in small ways, you send a powerful message to your mind: I can trust myself. Whether it's waking up early, going to the gym, completing a task, or stepping outside your comfort zone, every action you take strengthens that trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of confidence. Waiting for confidence before taking action is like standing by a cold pool. waiting to feel warm before you jump in. It doesn't work that way. You have to leap first, and only then will you start to feel the warmth of belief building inside you. Action is the jump, repetition is the heat, and confidence is what rises from it. Even failure plays a role. When you take action and things don't go as planned, you still gain something valuable. You learn, you adjust, you grow, and most importantly, you realize that failure didn't destroy you. That resilience fuels confidence too. You understand that setbacks aren't the end, they're just part of the journey. So, stop waiting to feel confident before you chase your dreams. Have that tough conversation or step into something bigger. The confidence you're looking for is hiding on the other side of your action. Start small if you have to. Take one step, speak one word, try once, then try again and again. Each action you take becomes a building block in the foundation of your confidence. Bit by bit, you'll notice a shift. You'll stand taller, speak clearer, and feel stronger, not because the fear is gone, but because you've proven to yourself that you can move through it. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a result, and it's waiting for you on the other side of action. Your environment matters more than most people realize. It quietly shapes your mindset, influences your decisions, and either supports or sabotages your growth. You can have the strongest goals and the best intentions, but if you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, or constant distractions, your progress will suffer. On the other hand, when you're in an environment that nurtures your ambition, encourages your voice, and aligns with your values, you thrive. We often underestimate the power of the people around us. Their words, energy, and behavior impact how we see ourselves and what we believe is possible. If you're surrounded by people who constantly complain, play it safe, or tear others down, their mindset begins to seep into yours. Slowly, your motivation fades, your dreams start to feel unrealistic, and you begin to doubt your potential not because it's true, but because you're absorbing the energy around you. On the flip side, when you're surrounded by people who believe in themselves and encourage others, it changes everything. Their belief becomes contagious. Their courage inspires you. Their progress reminds you of what's possible. A positive, driven environment doesn't eliminate your struggles, it reminds you that you're not alone in them. It pushes you to keep going when you feel like quitting. Your physical environment matters too. The spaces you spend your time in affect your focus, energy, and creativity. A cluttered, chaotic environment can make your mind feel scattered. A clean, organized, and inspiring space can boost clarity and productivity. Your surroundings either distract you from your purpose or pull you deeper into it. Think of your environment like soil. You are the seed. Even the most powerful seed won't grow in poor soil. But in the right soil, with the right nutrients, water, and light, that same seed becomes something strong, beautiful, and fruitful. You don't have to force growth when your environment is right. It becomes natural. That's why it's so important to protect your space and energy. Be mindful of who you give your time and attention to. You don't need to cut people out of your life with cruelty, but you do need to create boundaries. If someone constantly drains your energy or fills your mind with doubt, it's okay to step back. Your peace, focus, and growth are worth protecting. Also, be intentional about what you feed your mind. Your environment includes the content you consume, the books you read, the shows you watch, the social media you scroll through. Every input shapes your perspective. Fill your mind with inspiration, wisdom, and motivation. Surround yourself with people and content that remind you of who you want to become. You also have the power to create a better environment for others. Be the person who lifts others up, who celebrates wins, who encourages growth. When you radiate positivity and strength, you help build a space where others can rise too. And in doing so, your own confidence and clarity grow even more. Changing your environment doesn't always mean making massive life changes overnight. It can start small, choosing who you text back, organizing your workspace, turning off toxic noise, or joining a group of like-minded people. Each small shift creates momentum. Remember, you don't rise alone. You rise in the energy that surrounds you. So choose wisely. Build an environment that reflects the life you want, not the one you're trying to escape. Because when your environment aligns with your goals, your growth is no longer a battle. It becomes a natural, powerful evolution. Change the way you speak to yourself, and you'll change your entire life. The conversations you have in your own mind shape how you see the world, how you treat yourself, and what you believe you're capable of. Most of us are so used to self-criticism that we don't even notice it anymore. We speak to ourselves in harsh, unforgiving ways we would never use with someone we love. And yet, we expect to feel confident, motivated, and worthy while feeding ourselves a steady stream of doubt and negativity. You can't hate yourself into a better version of yourself. Growth, healing, and transformation come from support, encouragement, and belief, especially from within. When your self-talk is filled with judgment, comparison, and fear, it keeps you stuck. But when you shift that voice to one of compassion, understanding, and strength, you unlock a new level of clarity and power. Think about the words you use when you fail or fall short. Do you say, "I'm such a failure," or "I'll never get this right"? Or do you say, "This is tough, but I'm learning," or "I didn't succeed this time, but I will grow from it"? That shift might seem small, but it makes a massive difference. One response shuts you down. The other keeps you going. The way you speak to yourself influences your confidence. When you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough, you start to believe it. That belief becomes your reality, not because it's true, but because you've repeated it so often it feels true. But the opposite is also real. If you start saying, "I can figure this out," or "I'm stronger than I think," your brain will start looking for evidence to support that too. Your mind is always listening. It believes what you feed it. So feed it hope, feed it courage, feed it truth. You are not your mistakes. You are not your worst days. You are not the opinions of others. You are a work in progress, full of potential, doing your best, and that deserves kindness, not cruelty. Start treating yourself like someone you care about. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a friend who's struggling. Would you call them a failure, a mess, or not good enough? Of course not. You would remind them of their strengths. You would tell them they're doing better than they think. You would give them grace. You deserve the same. Changing yourself-talk doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. It means being honest and encouraging. You can acknowledge your mistakes without tearing yourself down. You can hold yourself accountable while still being kind. You can be your own toughest critic, but also your loudest cheerleader. This shift takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight, but every time you choose to speak gently to yourself, you're rewriting old patterns. You're building self-respect. You're planting seeds of self-belief. Over time, those seeds grow into confidence, peace, and resilience. So catch yourself when you're being harsh. Pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If not, don't say it to yourself. Replace the criticism with compassion. Replace the doubt with encouragement. Replace the fear with faith. Because when you change the way you speak to yourself, you change what you believe. And when you believe in yourself, everything becomes possible. You stop holding back. You start showing up. And you begin to live with the strength, purpose, and freedom that's been inside you all along.